That was awesome. Just so good. Okay, perfect. So, my name is Sarah Byrd, and we're just going to start this morning with a meditation. So, if you'd like to find a comfortable position, and keep your feet on the ground, firmly planted, just take a moment to get settled, nice and comfortable, and take a couple deep breaths in and out. Close your eyes, just get centered. So with your feet on the ground, I want you to imagine that your feet have roots, and the roots are going down into the earth. Deep, long, buried in the earth, surrounded by the cool dirt. Connected right there from the bottom of your feet so that your feet are literally planted on the ground. Now feel the energy of the earth, Mother Earth. Feel the energy of nature coming through your roots, like your roots drinking water. This energy just filling up, coming through your feet, going into the veins, your blood veins, this powerful earth energy coming through your body, filling you up. Feel this energy pulsate throughout your body. Every limb, every organ, every atom of your being is filled with this energy of life, invigorating, beating through your body. Every blood vessel carrying the energy of the earth. Now, while you feel that flowing through your body, feel yourself, your crown, the top of your head, connected with the heavens. Open up. Imagine the energy from heaven beaming down to the top of your head. The energy of God filling you through your crown chakra. And this energy too fills your body, flows through every vein in your being, pumping the energy of God in and out of all of your limbs, all of your organs. Every atom in your being is enlivened by this energy of God. And these two energies mix within you. The energy of the earth, the energy of the heavens, all enlivening every cell of your being. Just breathe that in and out. Feeling yourself be alive. Feeling the breath of life flow in and out of your being, every cell. If you get still enough, you can feel your heart beating from the top of your head and your chest, out to your fingers, all the way down to your toes, your roots in the earth. Life is beating through you. Heaven and earth literally are united in you. Take a few more deep breaths, feeling the energy of the earth, of God, of the heavens, thumping through your body. And know that with every single breath you take, you are uniting heaven and earth right here in you. Now feel your fingers and toes coming back to life. Take a few moments to re-enter this space. Open your eyes when you're ready. Keeping that beat of life within you. So I want to start this morning with a quote by a Hasidic master named Arthur Green. He's a contemporary guy, but he's really cool. So this is a little quote that I want to start with. It says, "If prayer is pure and untainted, surely that holy breath that rises from your lips will join with the breath of heaven that is always flowing into you from above. Thus, that part of God which is within you is reunited with its source. See your prayer as arousing the letters through which heaven and earth and all living things were created. The letters are the life of all. When you pray through them, all creation joins with you in prayer. All that is around you can be uplifted. Even the songs of the passing bird may enter into such a prayer." I really like that quote because it talks about uniting the heaven and earth, that the Spirit of God within you is united with the Spirit of God in prayer. So today, I want to talk about the power of words. The title of this sermon is Sacred Words, Sacred Life. So in Unity, there's a lot of writings and teachings about word, so we're going to focus on that. So we all know the creation story. God created the world through the use of words. Genesis 1 tells us, "And God said, and so it was." God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw the light. It was great. We love it. Okay. John, in the New Testament, also talks about the story of creation through the use of word. "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were made by him, and without him not anything was made." The Word was God. So they're talking about all of creation being made by God and all of creation being made by the Word. So I don't know about you, but my God is not some anthropomorphized, personified God. This, this guy up in the sky with the white beard and the robes and the sandals, sitting on a golden throne. That guy seems pretty cool, but to me, that's not my God. I don't relate with God as this dude up in heaven, sitting up on the clouds. God to me, my God is spirit, is life. The Fillmores talked about substance, this essence of life that permeates all things. So another part of the creation story with God creating the world goes like this. "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth." Yes, we got that. "And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light, yada, yada, yada. We got the earth." So we'll skip that part. But I love that moment in the creation story when it says God breathed the Spirit of life and moved across the face of the waters. A wind blew across the face of the waters is another translation of it. So when I think of God and I think of spirit as life, when I hear God created the world through the word, I think, okay, well, word can sometimes mean the spoken word, but word can also mean that spirit of life, the breath that we breathe. So I could get into this like linguistic tangent about vowels and consonants and breathing and breath and all of that, but it's kind of boring. I spent way too much time reading about it to prepare for this. I think it's fascinating, but I didn't want to bore you with it. But there is a connection between the breath that you breathe and the words that you speak. They are one and the same. In Unity, we talk about words in the sense of our intentions. So not just our words create our reality, our intentions, our thoughts, our beliefs, our words and our actions all create a reality. They're all tied together. So, in addition to the rest of the world, God created mankind, right? God created man in the image and likeness of him. So God is this creative force, this creative being, this essence of creation. And in the image and likeness of God, we too have that creative power, that creative potential. So we're creative beings, and I just wanted to read one part. I have lots of books today. So this is also from Genesis 1. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul." I think that's so beautiful. Again, it's that connection between the breath of life and creativity, creation. So our creative power is what, that creative energy, that breath of life, is what, again, connects the heavens and the earth. It connects that purely potential form, the form of, the abstract form in the world of imagination, brought down into the concrete form in the world of the physical, through our intentions, through our words. We are the creative beings that merge heaven and earth. So Emily Cady, another one of the forefathers, if you will, of unity, puts it very poignantly and very concisely. And she says this is in, I don't know, one of her books. God creates, I love her first sentence on this, God creates, simple as that. Because man was created in the image and likeness of God, he spiritually has like powers with God. He has the power of creating, of bringing into visible form that which before did not exist. As God created by the spoken word, so man can create by the spoken word. In fact, there is no other way to bring into existence the things that we want. Thought and the spoken word stand between the invisible and the visible. So she puts it really nicely, and I love that. So what is she talking about here? She's talking about the third and fourth unity principle. Some of you may be familiar. Third unity principle, law of mind action. This is the idea that our minds, the universal law, that our minds have some influence over our actions. There is a connection, a link between the experiences that we have, the thoughts that we have in our minds, and the physical world around us, the experience, the way we relate to the world around us. Fourth unity principle is all about affirmations and denials. So this is the idea that our affirmations, by stating statements of truth that we believe and hold true, will have an influence on our minds. It will have an influence on our hearts. By repeating it and letting these words sink into us, we can shift where we are in our mind and our heart, which in turn has an influence on our experiences and the way we relate with the world around us. So Matthew 7:7 tells us, "Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open unto you." I love this because it's not ask and you may receive, you might get it. Seek and you might find, you shall. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. It's such a powerful statement of faith that's in there. So Shantideva says it similarly. Oh, I didn't bring my book. Shantideva was a bodhisattva, so ancient Hindu, Indian texts. In the text, The Way of the Bodhisattva. And he put it like this: "Joyous, devoted thoughts yield abundant fruits of greater strength." Joyous and devoted thoughts, by staying in that place of the higher self, by keeping our mind and our thoughts focused on these affirmations of truth, focused on this connection with God, with the spirit of life, will yield forth abundant fruits of greater strength. So it's a simple statement, but I think it really relates with the way that we view affirmations in unity, influencing our minds. So what, you might ask yourself, what happens when I do ask, but then I don't get what I want? Because sometimes that happens, right? We ask, and we're like, where is it? Come on, God. And I always think, God is not Santa Claus, okay? It would be great if God was like Santa Claus, because we all like Santa Claus, but it doesn't just happen like that. So I was thinking about this. Sometimes we ask for things to this guy in the sky. This is this personified God that I really have a hard time relating with. We ask him for things. Hey, December 25th is coming up. I'd really like that new job or that new car or, the perfect romantic partner or whatever you want in your life. But it doesn't work like that. The idea of asking, the ask and you shall receive, that piece on the faith changes the whole perspective. So you know how you've heard about prayer, and sometimes people will say prayer is not about changing what's around you. Prayer is about changing what's within you, changing yourself. And I like that when you ask for things, you're not asking that this external force bring it to you. You're asking that you have the opportunity to create it yourself. So when you ask for the new job or the new car, or the new house or financial prosperity or a romantic relationship, whatever it is you're looking for, those are random kind of things that I think most people can relate to at least once in their life. But whatever it is you're looking for, when you ask, you shall receive by the fruits of your own labor. You shall receive because you have the opportunity to create it yourself. We all have that choice within us. We all have the ability to change our experience, not by changing the external, but by changing the internal, changing our perspective. So we have the ability to bring into the physical, just like Emily Cady said, into the visible form that which was previously invisible. If you're seeking something, you have the power to create it yourself, not ask for someone else to create it for you. So what happens sometimes, and I've seen this before, is that people will ask the universe for something, and then this grand opportunity opens up, and then they have this belief that they're not worthy of having it, and so they reject the opportunity, and then they turn right around and ask for it again. Wait a minute, I still didn't get it. So, for example, I know this person who is in my immediate family, and she's very poor. She believes that she's very poor, constantly broke, never enough money, bills are always coming in, filed for bankruptcy, on and on. She just really believes that she's poor. So growing up with this person in my immediate family, we always had enough money. You know what I mean? We had enough. We had some nice things. We could get things. There were a couple times where, we had to eat real basic stuff, but we always ate. I always went to school. We always had a roof over our head. But regardless of the amount of money that she actually has ever had, she still believes she's poor. So how does she live? What is her experience of being poor? No matter how much money she has, it doesn't matter. She will buy the worn, torn, stain-ridden clothes. She'll buy, a few years ago, she bought a brand new car. I mean, it was like brand new, the year that it was made kind of deal, and trashed it. Immediately, and since then has had a very young car, but it's trashed. Now, on the other hand, you can have the same person who has a car that's 15, 20 years old, but because they believe that they're prosperous, it's going to be well kept. I just wrecked my car last year. I was very sad about it. And it was 15 years old. Yeah, I got to buy a new car, which is great. But it was 15 years old, but I loved it. I took care of it. And it was far older than this other person's, but it wasn't trashed. See what I mean? You can be in that state of poverty. You can be in that state of wealth. And whatever you feel whatever you believe in your heart and think in your mind, that will be your experience. You create it based on your perspective. And that's true. I picked I picked more of a materialistic example, but that's going to be true for all things. You could think of someone who's maybe they're lonely, okay? They're wanting the perfect husband or wife, boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever. And they're just so absorbed with how alone that they are. They could get the perfect person knocking on their door. Hey, I'm here. But because they're so absorbed, they focus on being lonely. Do you think that they're going to take up that offer? Even if they're with that person, even if they have a relationship with that person, they still will feel lonely because that's their experience. That's what they choose to focus on. Again, another arbitrary, somewhat materialistic example, but you can make it in the spiritual world as well. Okay, so our beliefs shape our reality. Our thoughts direct our experience. It's this whole pessimistic versus optimistic, an attitude of gratitude. Having a positive attitude versus a negative one. It will change your experience. Another quick story that I saw on one of the news websites, and this young guy, he probably had to be in his early 20s. I didn't even write this. I just wanted to share it because I thought it was funny. But this young guy who's like in his early 20s, he's going to have to get his left foot amputated. And I don't know, he has something. He's otherwise physically healthy, but he's going to have to get his foot cut off. I have no idea who this person is. It was a news story. And so instead of wallowing in how awful it is, they're reporting on this guy because he's living it up. He's like, hey, I'm going to have my left foot for like 6 months, and I'm going to have to amputate it after that. So he and his sister are going around the world doing all these adventures, and they're documenting it, calling the last adventures of Andrew's left foot or something like that. And so they're going all around and doing all this crazy stuff, and it's really funny because they're taking these pictures where she's like got some kind of like hacksaw, like pretending to cut it off, and they're just doing all this funny stuff. And he ended up getting a tattoo around his ankle that had a dotted line, and it said "cut here." I thought it was really funny. And so the news is reporting on this because it's such a different perspective than what we're used to seeing, what most people would take. I know if I was about to lose my foot, I would not be nearly as happy as this young fellow was. I would be devastated. But it's so amazing that he is taking such a positive perspective and attitude and actually making memories, making it a positive experience. That's what I'm talking about, that perspective shift. You get out of your experiences exactly what you focus on. Poor fella. Okay, where was I? Okay, so there's this famous quote by Gandhi. I'm sure you've heard of it, but it so poignantly touches on this topic. So it says, be mindful of your beliefs. Your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. Okay, so it's a beautiful quote, I think. It might be kind of cheesy if you've heard it like 100 times like I have. But I love it because it directly links your actual life, your destiny, your entire experience of being alive, being a human, and links it all the way back to your thoughts, your beliefs, your words, your intentions. We don't always make that link. We don't always see, oh, geez, this awful thing happened to me. And then somehow connect back to your attitude, right? It's easy to play victim when it comes to life happening to us. Oops. Okay, so the other thing unity teaches that I really wanted to touch on too is silence. So here I am talking about words, talking about manifesting through our affirmations. There's a lot of focus on speaking, on putting it out there. But unity also teaches about the silence. So I'm going to read an excerpt from actually my mom's copy of The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, and it's the small section on talking. So it says, when you meet your friend on the roadside or in the marketplace, let the Spirit in you move your lips and direct your tongue. Let the Spirit in you move your lips and direct your tongue. Let the voice within your voice speak to the ear of his ear. I love that. The voice within your voice, speak to the ear of his ear. For his soul will keep your truth, the truth of your heart, just as the taste of wine is remembered, long after the color is forgotten and the vessel is no more. So what's that quote? I think it's by Maya Angelou or somebody. It's like, people won't remember what you say or what you do, but they will remember how you made them feel. It's the same thing. When you speak, let the voice of your voice speak to the ear of his ear. That's talking about connecting in the heart. So I love that because when I was thinking about silence, now I have a fairly, my background is in Buddhism. And so there's a lot of silent meditation, a lot of sitting and doing a whole lot of nothing. And it can get kind of boring, but it's extremely valuable because once you get still, then your words are no longer discursive. Your words aren't talking for the sake of talking. So when I'm speaking about manifesting your life through your words, it's not from a place of just, oh, you're up in your head. You know, it's easy to get stuck in our head. But that silence affords us the opportunity to drop to our heart. And it's from our heart that we truly can speak the true words of wisdom. If you're setting the intention, whether you know it or not, for whatever it is in your life from your head, it's so easy to set your intention from your head. But when you get silent, when you get still, when you have peace within, then it's your heart that's setting the intention. Your mind, your thoughts, your words, your actions, all of that will follow the footsteps of your heart. So I really wanted to stress that. Unity talks about it, prayer and meditation, affirmations and denials. All of those work together. They're not separate. So, I wrote down, silence allows us to speak from the heart. And from the stillness, we can move into action mindfully. It's so important to have a moment every day, whether it's 10 minutes or 30 minutes of sitting meditation, or whether it's when you get in your car, it's for your commute to work, you just take a breath and just arrive. You know what I mean? That's moving into things mindfully. So in our daily life, we are faced with challenges. When I was writing this, I kind of realized that for a little while I was focusing on creating, and almost like you're creating from nothing, as though nothing in your life ever happens and you just got this clean slate every single day. Well, that's not how it works. Life happens to us. It does. We lose loved ones. We have financial struggles. We have accidents. We have health concerns. Life happens. We have stresses at work. You know, we have conflicts with people, whatever it is. But the key here is to be able to choose how you respond. So everyone knows the difference between reacting to something and responding to something. Don't be reactive, be proactive, or whatever the thing is. So there's this parable of two frogs. It's this ancient Indian, Indo-Asian parable. And it's these two frogs that jump into this barrel. And the barrel, or carton, bucket, has milk in it. And so the first frog is like, oh no, I'm drowning, I'm dying, despair, pain, I'm never gonna get out of here, woe is me, I've given up hope, I'm just not even gonna try, what's the point? And sinks to the bottom and dies in this barrel of milk. This poor frog. The other frog who leapt in is treading water, right? They're staying afloat. They're treading milk, actually. So trying to stay up and swimming and going, okay, there's got to be some way to get out of this. I'm not going to give hope. I have a purpose for living, right? I have a point in being here. There is something I can get out of this experience. We say that all the time in Unity. I tell people something that's going on, and they're like, well, what have you learned out of this experience? This is a great learning opportunity. And as much as people say that, and I just kind of want to stomp on their foot when they do that, I also believe it's true. You know, here's this frog going, there's something. As he's treading, what happens to milk when you churn it? It gets thick. It turns into cream. So the one frog immediately gave up hope, was just like, woe is me, despair, no hopefulness, no positivity, no optimism for a different outcome in the future. sank to the bottom and drowned. Wah, wah. Other frog, swimming around, doesn't know what's going to happen, can't see the future. Frogs obviously have no idea what happens to milk. Since this is a fake story, whatever. So he's going around, keeps that positive attitude, and sure enough, he gets out. Turns into cream, gets thick enough, butter, is able to leap out. And that's actually a children's parable, like a kid's story, but it's so true. I love it so much because it's like that one simple thing. How easy is it to immediately go to despair? How easy is it to immediately just give up hope and to say, woe is me? Yes, we face challenging things. Yes, life does happen to us. But we get to choose what our perspective is. That divine unity between heaven and earth that lies within you, that is that divine power of choice that you hold. You have a spiritual responsibility to God, to spirit, to yourself, to humanity as the point in which heaven and earth unite, a spiritual responsibility to not be that frog that just sinks to the bottom. You have that divine choice. That was a sacred gift that we were all given. Free will, a sacred gift of free will. We have a divine responsibility to be positive in our daily lives, to meet these challenges and face the life that does happen to us with positivity and hope. We may not even see how things are going to work out. We may not even know. Sometimes you just have to ride on faith. And it may not be easy, but the second that you lose that faith, the second that you lose that hope, you have already lost. That person could be knocking on your door. That job opportunity could be here. You could have tons of money coming in, but you cannot accept it if you are in a lack of faith. Okay, so I want to leave you with this. Remember that your words have power. Remember that your thoughts create your life. See that link there. You can have a negative or a positive experience. You can drown, you can jump out. It is up to you. You have the choice. There was a sermon that I saw here about a year and a half ago. Janet Ellis spoke here. And I was sitting in the back over there. I remember where I was sitting, right by the door. And I've known Janet for a long time. She was a YOU sponsor when I was a teenager. She's known me since I was 14. And she got up here and was going on and on about whatever she was talking about. And I don't remember the whole sermon verbatim. But she was talking, and she said this statement that she uses. She's like a life coach or something. She used a statement that says, I choose to be around people who celebrate me, not tolerate me. And for the first time, I thought to myself, wait a minute, I have choice about who I get to be around? I was like, what? I can pick all of the people that are in my life? Never had dawned on me in my entire life, never had dawned on me that I pick who I spend time with. Whoa. So from that point, that someone giving me that choice and expressing it to me gave me freedom. And then it was like, oh yeah, I'm going to choose the people who celebrate me, not tolerate me. At that time in my life, I am not even exaggerating, guys. A year and a half ago, 90% of the people in my life barely tolerated me. Barely tolerated me. At best. 90% of the people in my life. It was a sad, sad realization. 10% of the people in my life actually celebrated me. Now, it's not everyone I know. It's the people I chose to spend time with. Now, a year and a half later, I have lost a lot of friendships. I have lost a lot of relationships. I have stopped spending time with people that I formerly connected with. But now, 100% of the people I choose to spend time with celebrate me. 100%. I don't choose to spend time with people who tolerate me at best. Why would I? I never had that choice before. And now that I have that choice, I have that freedom. And why would you choose anything less? It's been a huge life change. I was sitting right back there. Janet Ellis was up here. So it's that choice and our perspectives that can change our life dramatically. So I wanted to read something really inspiring. This is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, classic book. Viktor Frankl, if you're not familiar, he survived the concentration camps in the Holocaust. Powerful book if you've never read it. Oh, I cried the whole time, just tears. Okay, so he wrote this. And where did I say I was going to read? Okay. I underlined all my other ones, but this one I didn't. Okay, here he goes. I speak of tragic optimism. This was really inspiring to me. I read this last night, and I was like, whoa. I speak of tragic optimism. That is, an optimism in the face of tragedy. Homeboy just survived the concentration camps, and he's writing this, okay? There is no greater tragedy that one could face than living through the concentration camps. I always think, man, if he can have a positive attitude with that, I can have a positive attitude when something little happens in my life. Puts it in perspective. I speak of a tragic optimism, that is, an optimism in the face of tragedy, and in the view of human potential, which at its best allows for these three things: turning suffering into human achievement and accomplishment. Right? Look at that perspective. Turning suffering, it is guaranteed to happen. The Buddhists, they say it is guaranteed that in your human experience, you will experience suffering. It's the nature of being alive. Whether it's internal pain, physical pain, whatever it is, everyone experiences suffering. Taking that and using it as a means for achievement, for overcoming, what a beautiful potential we have that sometimes we miss. Number 2, human potential at its highest allows for these three things. 1, 2, deriving from guilt the opportunity to change oneself for the better. Deriving from guilt the opportunity to change oneself for the better. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I wasn't raised in a very fundamental Christian environment. I was raised in unity for the most part. So I'm not going to sit here and tell those of you who were raised in that guilt is your reason for making yourself a better person. Don't use that. Don't mishear me. But I love that he says that guilt is the opportunity to change yourself for the better. Whatever your reason is, you have the opportunity to change yourself for the better. To look, even in the face of adversity, even in the face of discomfort, even in the face of challenges, when life happens to us, which it will, that you use that as an opportunity to better yourself. That's going back to that idea that we don't pray to change the circumstances around us. We pray to change our internal state. And number 3, deriving from life's transitoriness an incentive to take responsible action. Okay, now this is somewhat archaic language because, well, yeah. Deriving from life's transitoriness, meaning the changes that happen in life. I keep saying life happens to us. That's something that's kind of unpopular in New Thought world. Life doesn't happen to you, you happen to it, whatever. But life does happen to us. Things happen in our life that happen to us. And using that as your incentive to take responsible action. That's exactly what I'm saying. Use the experiences in your life, whether they're bad or whether they're good, whether they're pleasant or unpleasant, whether they're positive or negative. Use that as your incentive to take responsible action. It's just a different way of speaking to that spiritual responsibility that we have as the creatures, the beings that unite heaven and earth. So I'll leave you with this question. When life happens to you, what will you create? Thank you.